Hello and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be working on one of the most unique deer I've ever seen. You know, you have your typical whitetails and your non-typicals, but this buck is in a category of his own, somewhere in the extreme non-typical category. Just take a look at the bases of these antlers, how they just sort of seem to have melted onto the top of this deer's head. Just crazy looking. Today we're going to be taking a pass at designing this deer, but I'm also going to try to provide a little bit of color commentary just around what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and get started on this deer and see what it can end up looking like. One thing I do just want to mention real quick here, sometimes when you're working on these big deer, it can be really difficult to tell where the different tines are. For something like this deer where it's gotten publicity, this buck has been in North American Whitetail magazine. You can find Google images of this deer, just Google helmet head buck. It can be helpful to try to get different angles to see if you've captured all the points. And sometimes simply zooming in and zooming out can let you pick up on something you've missed when you're zoomed in at all the detail of the pixels. So just something to keep in mind. Sometimes you have to ask somebody for additional photos, other angles of their deer, just to make sure that you're getting all the points and that you're truly representing the deer that you're working on. Okay, so here we have the first phase of the design. We've done all of the tracing. What I do at this point is I'll zoom in and make all of the spacing between the different points the same distance. You can see it'd be better if I zoom in. We'll use this as an example up here. When I was tracing, I just didn't get everything the same distance from each other. This is more of the spacing that you want so that the print or the engraving can come out properly, and the points just don't all look like they're a single piece. So I'm going to go through and clean up and make some of these lines a little bit better smoothed and a little bit farther apart, and just make them a lot more uniform looking so that the design prints a whole lot better. I don't know if you can tell the difference with just fine-tuning it right there. Sometimes really fine-tuning something well can take almost as long to do as the initial trace. However, trust me when I say that making those detailed edits and just making sure that everything is properly aligned and properly traced out and spaced from each other really makes a difference in the final product. You're trying to make this look as close to the actual animal as possible. In some way, it's similar to real taxidermy, because you want this to be as true representation of the animal as possible, and you don't want to get a bad result from your taxidermist and have your deer looking like it's been hit by a car. So I really try to take a lot of time and effort and make this as accurate as possible. So what I usually do now is put a little bit of text, descriptive text. People usually choose to either call the deer, put the deer's name here, put down where they shot it, what they shot it with. So for this deer, I know that it's called a helmet head buck, so we're just going to call it that. And then I know it was shot in 2017 in Kansas. So that's all we'd have to do, maybe center that text a little bit. And then that can be included in the final design. So that's the basics of it. In just a second, I'm going to flash to a picture of what this design looks like once it's actually been printed out and put onto a decal on a truck window. And in another video, we'll show you actually printing those decals out so that you can get a sense of what sort of equipment goes into that and the detail that comes out of the printer. So that's all for now. Click subscribe, leave a comment, leave a like. Let me know if you have an animal that you would like to have designed. And that's all for now.